Today I'm going to be covering 5 different types of pre-war cards. Now how these are named and categorized, it was by someone named Jefferson Burdick, created a book called the American Card Catalog. And because of his research in the early to mid 1900s, we have all the knowledge from today and why some sets like the T206 are called a T206. But covering that in this video, so make sure to pay attention, especially if you're someone going from modern to vintage cards. This will really help with your knowledge. Up first, we have N cards. So this is a N162 of the one and only Buffalo Bill. N stands for 19th century tobacco, and these were the majority of the releases at the time, especially within baseball cards. Some other N series that you guys might know are like the old Judges, which have N172s and 173s. Baseball specifically, 172s are this size, 173s are cabinets, which are extremely large cards. Cover it in another video as well. There's other sets like Allen and Ginter, again, that N designation. Now, not all cards in the 1800s have N's. For example, in baseball, there's something called the G&B gum, which back then it was kind of revolutionary gum with cards. If you look in the 30s, it's extremely popular. You had Gaudi, you had DeLong, Tattoo Orbit, among other brands. And then in the 40s, you had Bowman. And then 50s, you had that rivalry between Bowman and Topps. But all the way back in the 1800s, not to go on too much of a tangent, but some of these cards, the N series cards, some of the most beautiful in the hobby. I mean, just take a second to admire the picture on this. I know it's a little bit blurred right now. Hopefully this camera goes into focus. There we go. Just look at the picture quality of this card. Absolutely beautiful. I'll turn over the back as well. You guys can see what this looked like. Mixture of baseball, you had boxing, you had popular personalities, you had tennis, chess, like so cool. Cap Anson in this set is considered one of the best looking baseball cards of all time. I like the design of the Buffalo Bill card better, but let other people argue. Put down in the description what you like better, Cap Anson or the Buffalo Bill within the set. So now into the 20th century, also 1900s cards, we have a T abbreviation, and that's why we have the set, the T206. Now, one thing also is these weren't in sequential order. The T205s actually came after the T206s. It was just when they were specifically cataloged. This is a 1911 release. T206s were 1909 through 1911. But really beautiful card. One way that you can actually tell is if this card is a T card is on the back. So first off, a lot of them had different brands that were on here, and I know there's other series that do, but it's actually the factory number. So you can see over here, this one is factory number 25. And it was a US law that all these tobacco companies had to actually put what factory the cards were produced in. So if you turn it over in the back and you see a factory number, you know it is a T designation. So pretty cool on that. Also, I want to just quickly, briefly say on some of these different types of cards, the manufacturer does increase the value, and so does the factory number. It depends on each different set, but just a quick reference for T205s and T206s. If there's a factory 42, those are a little bit more expensive. The rarest type of back that you can find in a T206 set is the Ty Cobb back. And if you can find one of those of the Ty Cobb card, oh man, that's an amazing find. I'll just tell you that one right there. There's a find a few years ago. I think those cards, I don't know on top of my head. I think those cards though were well into the 6 figures, and if sold today, I bet would be upwards of 7 figures just because of the scarcity of them and how iconic they were. Up next, we have candy cards. So this is an E90 of Nap Lajoie. Looks very similar to the T206 design with the portraits. I'm going to flip over this card so you guys can see the back, and voila, there is no factory number because this is an E card, which means it was distributed with candy. So you can see over here, the Caramels, the American Caramel Company in Philly. A lot of different candy sets in the early 1900s. Them and the tobacco were pretty much 1 and 2, but beautiful looking card. Some of these E cards, again, fantastic colors on them and really pop out. Another extremely popular card during this time period were strip cards. So this is an example that I got at the National. It is of Jack Johnson W590. Let's hope it loads up over here. So a lot of these cards on the strip cards were cut kind of poorly. You can either find two versions. You can find something that's like extremely nice cut, or something poor, or even something ripped. Sometimes these were in sheets. People just ripped them over there, or they were able to cut them out. Like, the quality is all over the place, but you guys can see over here. Now, a lot of strip cards are kind of ugly, not going to lie, in comparison to some of the tobacco or candy releases during the time period. So they're not as expensive, but still a part of collecting history. Last one I wanted to share in this video were food cards. And this is designated by a F50. And this is a Harrington's of George Sisler. Sisler batted .400 twice. And there's a few different F50 cards and backs. You have Harrington's. You also had Yinglings. And then you also had Tharps. There's a fourth one, I believe, but I just can't remember it on top of my head. But you guys can see the back over here, how it references ice cream and also Babe Ruth, which is really cool. But yeah, that is an F50 card. So those were only 5. I want to make a follow-up video next week. So if we can hit 100 likes on this video, I will make it show 5 more examples of pre-war cards to watch out for. Again, knowledge is key. Keep on learning. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow, which is Friday, for an episode of Spotting Fakes.